Hello and welcome to another day in paradise. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the vaccination. But first I'm going to ask you to please like, subscribe, share and click the bell notification. So things are going to change. You'll start seeing the difference as of today. Will you get a vaccination if the government of your country asks you for one, or even tells you that it's mandatory, or your company tells you that it's mandatory, or let's say you're getting some sort of government incentive and they say, yeah, no problem, you can continue taking your incentives, you can continue to have your maternity leave, that's no problem, but you will need to get a certificate saying that you have had the vaccination. Are you going to take it? Now, I was asking myself, because personally I'm not going to take it. I'd rather die than take that crap, if I need to be honest with you. I'm at an age now where even my mother said this. My mother said this before I said it. She said, there is no way I'm taking this. Not a chance. And my mother tends to be right with pretty much everything. It's quite creepy with that. So, yeah, I listen to her, and I'm not going to take anything either. I would prefer to die, literally, than take a vaccine. To take anything which has been forced upon me by these types of people, you know, by them. So you now have all these big corporations, big money people, financing the production of a vaccine for this virus, and the people who are getting involved are extremely sinister. Bill Gates is just one of a multitude of people who are getting involved in this, and they're getting involved in this for one thing, and yeah, it's money. So there has been a small company over in the States by the name of Novax, I think out of the top of my head, Novax, that awarded $15 million by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to create this vaccine. And I want you to guess where they are planning to test this vaccine out. Yes, they're going to test it in Africa to make sure that these Africans can have equal access to the health, to the vaccine, just as equal as everybody else. Now, I hate conspiracy theories, I really do. I used to be part of a community of people who were fully into believing that everything was a conspiracy theory, believing that the weather is modified somehow, that the earthquakes that you feel is some sort of machine which has been producing it, that the CIA, that the American government somehow has been able to weaponize earthquakes. Just ridiculous stuff, tin foil hat sort of stuff. And I'm so happy that I don't follow this rubbish anymore. I mean, we could point at the Tuskegee experiment, which happened in the United States. I think it was in Alabama, where they injected syphilis into the African American community, which gave so much health problems. They purposely did this. The American government purposefully did this in the 20th century. You got to remember the African Americans, the men, I think it was 400 men that was injected with this syphilis. it was given to them under the pretext of a vaccination against something else. They just lied to them basically and said that this was for their health. And what it was they were being used as lab rats. I tell you something, this government, it doesn't even deserve to burn in hell. It deserves something worse than that. I'm no doctor. I don't know much about medicine, but I know a little bit about the world we live in, and I know throughout history the way these people work. And I can tell you something now. If you don't know already, you should know that you shouldn't trust anything coming from these people. Anything. I've got a young daughter here now. She hasn't had any vaccines whatsoever. I haven't given her any. I won't give her any. The doctors around here say, oh, well, if she's not going to have any vaccines, then we don't want to see her. I was like, see you later. Goodbye. Do you truly think you can somehow get me to bring my daughter in by saying that she won't be able to come in? She won't be able to go to school because she'll need to have a vaccine. She's going to be homeschooled. She'll get homeschooled. She'll be homeschooled. I'll pay for people to come in and do certain classes, but I'll do the bulk of the classes in the evening. She's not going to go to school. I'm not going to get blackmailed into causing some sort of health concern to my daughter because they wanted to do it. And if something goes wrong, oh yeah, it's okay. Here's a couple of $100,000. We're sorry. You can have it up. This is why Africa is the way. Okay. Parts of rural Africa, the parts of rural Africa that have been untouched by the virus are the best places to go, in reality. Get a test to make sure that you are free of the virus. Take you and your family and get out of the West. Because I believe that people are running around screaming white privilege, and the white people here are believing that they have some sort of extra power here. The normal white public are thinking, oh yeah, we have a privilege. Yeah, for the most part, perhaps they do. But what they don't know is that they are being used like cattle. They're being used like cattle. And they don't know it. They believe that they are privileged, they're in a privileged position. Hence the reason why they were sticking all these people dying in the Mediterranean trying to get to Western Europe. They were sticking that on the TV a couple of years ago. It was on almost all the time. It's there to teach the people here that, hey, you are lucky. You are lucky to be here. You are lucky to be working a 9-to-5 in a little grey box somewhere, paying your taxes and, you know, going back home, sleeping and shitting for a company, and then you've got 2 days off for the weekend. Wow, this is the American dream, right? So this is why they are trying to package their own societies to make sure that the people here are happy. So next it's going to be, oh, you're lucky, we have the vaccine for you. We have the vaccine for you. Don't worry about it. We'll test it first, but it won't be on you. And then we'll bring it here and we'll bring it out into the market, and then everybody will be happy. You can have it for free. You won't even have to pay for it. Your government will pay for it. You're going to trust that? Africa is going to be the place where you will, if you are a diasporan, you're going to have some leverage. You'll have some power there, okay? So if you go back there, if you go back to Nigeria, if you go back to Ghana, they don't have the social systems to enforce a mandatory vaccine. They just don't have it in Nigeria. They don't have it. They don't have it in most of I would even say in all of Africa. They don't have that kind of control. So really, if you are planning something, if you're planning to get out, you've got to make it reasonably quick within the next couple of years, because I'm telling you something, the Muzungos are up to something, and you know this already. They are up to something, and you do not want to be a part of it. Your escape plan back to the motherland is more important now than ever. It really is. There is many reasons for you now. I would say perhaps even more reason to leave than to stay, if you're looking at it from a logical point of view. I normally look at it from a emotional point of view. I want to move back because I love Africa. I love the time that I spent there. One thing that these African countries do have is airports, a system whereby when you go in to the country, they can track and they can trace you, you know, they need to know where you live. They got all your visa information, right? So they could say, well, you know, we give visas out only to people who have had the vaccine. So now you need to ask yourself, which countries are going to be doing this? It's a big question. Which countries are going to be having mandatory vaccines for their people? Mandatory vaccines or no entry. Okay, now you see, this is where things get a bit tricky. You need to add this to your equation when you're trying to find out which country you are planning to repatriate to, because some of these countries, the leadership in there, I should say, is a little bit you know, so you can't trust them. Some of there's so much money to be made in this vaccine that a lot of these leaders will capitulate. They will capitulate if forced to by another country, perhaps from the West or from China. So you need to look at the leadership of the country. You need to look at how skittish each leader is. Whether you've got a leader like the leader of the Philippines, you know this man is never going to accept that. It's not about money to him. He would never. The leader of the Philippines, Duterte, I forgot his name, something like that. He is not going to accept it. So you need to start looking at leaders like this, someone who's going to be in office for a while, and someone who actually makes a stand and says, there is no way I'm going to give mandatory vaccines to my people from the West, because you know what they plan to do with those vaccines. I shouldn't even have to tell you this. If you're a diasporan, you'll definitely know what they plan to do with it. They'll weaponize it. You know that as well as I do. They will try and find out something. And it may not affect you straight away. It may even give you health benefits for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years. But who knows? If you're an American and your government specifically targeted your race by injecting them with a deadly disease like they had done in the Tuskegee experiment, would you trust them again? So I'm going to leave it there, guys. What's your thoughts on this? You have any questions? You have any comments? Please leave it below in the comments section. It would be really good to hear from you. I'd like to thank you again for listening. I'd like to thank all those new subscribers as well. Welcome to the family. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.